Hi, thanks for joining me. Well, now we come to the water signs tarot readings for February 2020, and this is the first of those. This is for the sign of Cancer. I've done the shuffle already using my favourite deck here, Tarot in Wonderland, just because it takes forever to upload videos, so I try and keep them short and packed with information. So let's get started. What is card number one? Oh, the Wheel of Fortune, right. Number 10 in the Major Arcana. So there is a sense of completion here, quite a strong sense of completion. But the question is this going to be good or bad? You never know. But this is where positive thinking comes in and really makes a difference. Alice is chasing the hare here. Or is she just chasing her own tail? That's the question. And there are questions all over this because of these playing cards, some of which we can see, some of which we can't see. The ones we can't see are things that aren't worth worrying about, but the ones we can see are all about there being a game going on. And the biggest one here really is an ace. Well, we've got the Eight of Hearts, but we can't quite see that. That's quite a positive one though, really, the Eight of Hearts, is it not? But yeah, the Ace of Diamonds there, that's looking really good. So we've got to keep a positive focus on here, Cancer. Okay, that's going to be a real important one. This card, really, you know, you've got to sort of question what's good, question what's bad, and really question yourself about what you want and where you want this card to take you. We've got the clock showing it's either 6 o'clock or 12 o'clock. It's not entirely clear on this card here. So time, although it's always of the essence, is something that's very much a part of our world, and of course our lives are in this world. We have to stay grounded in this world as we're deciding really where are we going to jump off the Wheel of Fortune, where are we going to be able to take our next steps. It's a card that worries people quite a lot actually, and it really shouldn't, because whatever comes up in life that's worrying, just like whatever comes up in the tarot that's worrying, there are always going to be positive possibilities. It's just that there's a game to play, and this is where we are at the moment really, Cancer. Okay, so going forward from here, there's no problem looking for positives, because the more we look for positives, the more we're going to find them. That's a fact of life really, and it's certainly a fact of the tarot. We've got a chessboard here, which in this deck always adds to that feeling that there is a game going on, and we've got to play that game. The real strongest, truest thing I can say about this card is don't stop playing the game, and don't actually try and jump off the Wheel of Fortune until you feel it's facing in the right direction for you. That's a difficult thing to work out, and it's a difficult balance to keep. But somehow we can keep balance. Somehow Alice and the hare are actually managing to keep their balance on the wheel. They're just having to run a bit to keep up with it. And I guess that means you're sort of running a bit to keep up with things as well, Cancer. It's often quite a tricky juggling act just to keep body and soul together. And I'm actually doing this reading just as we've got full moon in Aquarius, and Aquarius is actually square Uranus as well. And that is the new moon that's going to carry us through February. So that's quite significant. It's a time when anxieties come up. It's also a time of great positive possibilities if we can just cope with the anxieties. But it's the Wheel of Fortune. There is complication here. There's bound to be. That's the way of things. And so it's not just you, it's the people around you, the players in your world, and the things that matter to you as well. What's actually happening around the things that matter to you. For example, we've just gone through Christmas, and that's a time when we find ourselves doing things we wouldn't normally do and being with people that we don't see all that often. And so life is a bit different. And then when we come back to reality, as we have been doing throughout January, life tries to go back to normal. But, you know, nothing ever stays the same, does it? Because we live in a changing world. So there's the Wheel of Fortune. Quite a balancing act going on here, and quite tricky. But we're going to move forward through the spread now and see what else comes up. Oh, let's just put that back like it was again. Right, okay. And so the next card in this spread for the sign of Cancer, it's the Nine of Cups. There we are, Nine of Cups. Now this is a great card. This is all about making a wish. It used to be called the wish card in the old traditions of fortune telling, and that's a wonderful thing to actually hang on to. And that is the nature of Tarot in Wonderland, actually. It's a story from right back years, and well, like 100 and odd years ago in Victorian times, more than 100 years ago. But the wisdom of the Tarot is the wisdom of life, and although life is changed and things are very different in our modern world, we are the same human beings with the same biological makeup that we had, not just in Victorian times, but right back at the beginning of time. So it's about making a wish, and this card suggests actually that you're very likely to have your wish come true if you keep the right focus, and you're quite likely as well not to have to be too careful about what you wish for, because the chances are you're going to like what you get from wishing when this card appears. But we've got this character, the Caterpillar. He also appears as the Magician in this deck, in the Major Arcana. So he's a very positive influence. He is, being a Cups sign, 9 of Cups here, it is actually, that is, you know, indicative of the water signs. So Cancer, it's close to your heart, this one. It looks like it's really in tune with you. Can you be in tune with it? That's the question, Cancer. So it's a question of getting your manifesting head on, and this is the heart of the matter. That's what's going to link you from the confusion here to whatever we're going to get here when we get to this card. Really a lot of positivity though. Being Cups, it's about longings, it's about desires, and being a number 9, it's actually very close to completion. So, you know, whatever you wish for isn't too far away at this point, Cancer. Exactly how, in what form your wish comes true, that's going to be difficult to say. But this card suggests a lot of positivity, and if you don't get exactly what you want this time around, it will come around, because we've got the bare trees here and we've got nature down here, and that shows that the cycle of nature is always going on and will be a part of this. So going forward through 2020, things are looking very positive, and my whole intention of this reading is for February 2020. So Cancer, make a wish. I suppose be careful what you wish for. It's always quite important to do that, but don't worry about it. That's the bottom line. Things are looking positive here. Very easy to be worried and concerned with the Wheel of Fortune, and that's a 10. And so coming to a 9 here, it's as if we've stepped back a little bit, but that's a good way to actually make progress. That's a good way for your wishes to happen, and that's a really good way for things to manifest. So there is the purple of healing, there is the blue of truth and spiritual connection, and the green of nature, and green is also a great healing colour. So in this card there's more healing than anything else, I would say, and having a good wish come true is actually a very healing thing, is it not? I'm sure we all have things that we wish for, and for you, Cancer, February 2020 looks like a time of things starting to go in the right direction, starting to make more sense than they have as well, because this is the heart of the matter, and there is a good deal of mystery about this, particularly because this character comes up as the Magician in this deck. It's mysterious, and there's a lot of mystery here as well with all the turned over playing cards. So, how to get what we want? Where are we actually going next? Let's turn over card number 3 and find out. And card number 3 is number 9, the Hermit. And that indicates Virgo energy. So, that could in fact be sort of Earth energies, basically Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn around you. But, you know, essentially Virgo energy. So is there a Virgo in your life? Is there a Virgo who's part of your sort of manifestation desires around love? Is there a Virgo at work who is significant? And the other thing to look at is, where is the sign of Virgo in your birth chart, Cancer? And if you haven't had a birth chart done, I'm always saying this actually, you must have heard me say it a million times by now. If you haven't had a birth chart done, go to one of the big astrology websites. They will give you a free birth chart. It's as easy as anything because it's all programmed in. And that's not as impersonal as it sounds, you know. The universe has been working the way it works for so many millennia, well, for as long as anyone can remember, and a lot longer than that, in fact, going way back, as long as there's been a universe. And these correspondences around astrology have been noticed for thousands of years. It almost doesn't matter who you are in terms of your birth chart, so do get one done and see where Virgo sits, because that is going to be an important consideration in the way forward through February 2020. Anyway, it's number 9 again. So we're still in that state of having stepped back a bit, but that is going to be really quite positive, because things really are a little bit too complicated with the Wheel of Fortune. So we've made the wish, and where are we going with it? Well, you have to decide that one for yourself, Cancer. That's the most important thing, because you are the most important person in this reading. It's all about what it means to you. And the Hermit actually also appears as the Knight of Cups in this deck. So there's a thought of longings, there's a thought of desires, and again it's close to the water signs, so that's important too. Now Alice is waving almost tearfully to the Knight as he rides his charger off into the wilderness to go inside himself. And that's because, you know, things are never the same again. She will see him again, actually, and very soon. But things are never quite the same again. She'll change and he will change, because he's being the hermit. Excuse me a minute, just got something on there. Right. He's being the hermit, and he has to go off and think very deeply. And it's thinking about what he wants. And it's also thinking about what's going on in his life. So that's what you need to do, Cancer. What no longer serves you? That's the thing to think about, because that's going to need clearing out, because the wish looks like coming true here. And the wish is going to be a lot more positive and a lot more powerful energy in your life if you've actually got rid of what no longer serves you and called in what does serve you. Maybe resolved to work on what does serve you. And just like Alice will see the Knight again, but it'll be different. The Knight will see Alice again, but she'll be different. Because Alice in this deck is sort of going on a journey from being a child to becoming a full-on woman. And that is the analogy of our spiritual progress through this life. Feminine energy is nearly always connected with anything to do with astrology and to do with anything esoteric, really, as well. It's not, of course, it's not all about women and girls. This applies to men, and I've noticed it a lot in my life too. But it's just an analogy, you know. Alice will have turned into a woman by the time the Knight comes back. And that actually doesn't take very long. It's a quick transition. It's something that happens fairly quickly. In the fullness of time, sure, you know, things keep on changing, and, you know, life is going to go on a lot longer than February 2020, I'm very happy to say. But the Knight has to get away from it all, and the spurs are on the horse's legs here, because the horse is going to have to brush aside and get out of the way of anything that is holding up the Knight's progress towards what he wants. So I'm going to give that to you, Cancer. You know, be willing to brush aside what no longer serves you, and be aware that to get the wish to come through, you're going to have to kind of hack through the undergrowth a bit to get yourself out into the open, out into the clear. But do that hermit thing. Go inside yourself. Have a think, because, you know, you've come to this world with your own mission, and it's important that that mission is able to manifest out into reality. Okay, on that note then, I'm going to say thanks very much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Leave me a comment, guys. We'll share the journey, and it's always good for me to know who's watching, kind of, you know, what signs you've got going on in your birth chart. That kind of thing helps me as I meditate and do the shuffling to bring these readings out. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button that comes up to receive all notifications, because I'm always doing more readings, and there's pure astrology coming up as well as we go through this weekend. I'm doing it all the time, really. Thanks again. Have a good one, and I'll be along soon with more readings. Peace to you.